It's all just fun and games, chill dude.
Throughout my videos I've been pointing out several times Amber's manipulative and narcissistic way of dealing with other people. There's no doubt in my mind that Amber has NPD, which is caused by traumas in her childhood. They say, the easiest way to spot a narcissist is to tell them no or ask them to apologize to you, as they can't handle rejection or admit any wrongdoings of their own. We all know a person like that, don't we? Beck has been posting several videos revealing parts of their relationship with Amber, things that are hard to hear and make you question how much more is still to be revealed. Beck was the most abused partner of Amber's out of all the ones we have seen, and I'm sure, had Amber been a vlogger while dating Casey, we would have seen her act similarly towards him. It's their kindness that Amber used as a weapon against them. Why wasn't Amber like that to Crystal then? She was the kindest of all. Because Crystal gave something to Amber, there were people there Amber needed to pretend to. There was abose, don't get me wrong, but not as severe as what Beck and Casey went through, but there was abose as well. Amber posted in response video to Beck's claims that was filmed on the 7th of February, 2025. I watched it and noticed several tells of a highly manipulative person, and I would love to point those out to you. Not just to call out Amber, but also to help you pick up on things in case you find yourself in a situation similar to this. Let's start.
Buckle up, pumpkin. We are going for a ride.
My last response to Beck, February 16th, 2025.
Hello. So welcome to a new video. It's actually February 7th at 3 a.m. in the morning. Yes, I should be asleep, but here I am awake filming a video. I was actually getting ready to get comfy and try to sleep. My sleeping hasn't been the greatest. I've just been having a lot of anxiety, and when I have a lot of anxiety, I go to sleep really late, and I genuinely hate it. Something I've suffered with majority of my life.
Immediately there are points I would like to make. Considering the seriousness of this video, it's really odd for her to choose to film it at 3 a.m. on her mother's birthday, by the way. It makes it seem this was all done on a whim, no planning ahead, just something she needed to get off her chest. However, her need to point out the time and how she's suffering with anxiety and having issues with sleeping is all being done in order to manipulate her audience. It's to make her look more human. Many empathetic and sensitive people can relate to her. Oh, how I've suffered for this. I can't even sleep, giving Amber already leverage on those members in her audience. But don't let her fool you. Amber has always went to bed at the early hours of the morning only to wake up at noon. This is her sleep schedule. It's always been like so. Might she be having anxiety for real? Most likely, she's being exposed for things she thought she got away with. Could it be affecting her sleep? No doubt. Should you feel sorry for her? No. If you need to feel sorry for anyone in this situation, feel sorry for Beck. Let's continue.
Anyways, I could have totally slept and waited till tomorrow to film this, but I think it's just so heavy that I have to do it now so I can just be completely done with it.
It's just an inconvenience to her, nothing more. She could have waited to film this video later, but because it's not that important, she might as well get it over with now. She's smiling, she's confident she'll get away with it again, like she thought she did once before. Considering the heaviness she's talking about, it doesn't look heavy to her, it's just inconvenient and she needs to shut it down. For her to choose to film this video on the 7th but post it on 16th is also ridiculous. If it's so heavy on her, why wait 9 days to publish?
I watched Beck's new video that they posted tonight or today or whatever, but it was a new one. So that video genuinely shocked me, and it made me feel stupid and dumb, and it made me realize that the way that I viewed our relationship was completely wrong, and I was oblivious to a lot of things, even to the extent of the way that I treated them. So I want to be accountable in that. But this is just the example that I saw in their newest video, where it made me look back and be like, yeah, we both actually viewed this relationship completely different.
The video I believe Amber to be referring to is Beck's Beck Kinda Reacts, first compilation, posted on 7th of February. I don't know what time the video was posted, but if it was at midnight, Amber would have had 3 hours after to film her video, which seems a little tight. First of all, why keep tabs on Beck if she believes them to be lying and having done things to Amber as well? For her to be watching Beck's video among the first ones and then going ahead and filming your own response seems a little bit sus to me. It shocked me. I felt stupid, dumb. The way I viewed our relationship was completely wrong. I was oblivious to a lot of things to then continue having been oblivious to how she treated Beck and wanting to be accountable for her behavior, but immediately bringing it back to shared accountability. How they both viewed the relationship differently. How oblivious can you be when you not only film everything in your life, you have another person, Eric, Also filming some of your interactions with your partner. You supposedly edit your videos and then have them posted online for other people to point out you are abusing Beck. That's not being oblivious, that's being ignorant. I believe this is the point Amber tries to start manipulating Beck again. She's making herself feel like a victim. You made me feel stupid. Beck, and then bringing Beck also to the judge's table to state they both view their relationship differently. Beck is a kind person who doesn't want to hurt other people. Amber knows this. We are barely a minute and she's already starting to exhaust Beck into submission. Look at her smiles. Look at her forcing eye contact. She's trying to make her voice shake, trying to bring the fake tears. She's a professional at this.
So in their new video, they were reacting to a compilation video of me being rude to them for 10 minutes straight. And in the reaction, Beck stated multiple times that it's obvious that they didn't want to be on camera. And they said, oh, look at me zoning out while she's talking. And it's like both of those things like genuinely hurt, and it made me realize like I didn't even notice these things. Just like how when I was in a relationship with them, I didn't notice how mean or rude I could come off until looking back, and I just feel super remorseful.
Yes, again, how Beck's statements hurt Amber. Bad Beck, how dare you? But then claiming to take accountability by stating I didn't even notice. It's a back and forth pull. She's willing to admit to something but also needs Beck to feel bad too. Beck has to have hurt them too. She could have just kept the focus on Beck. I didn't even realize. I didn't notice her zoning out. That's how selfish I was, but has to make it first about herself. How this realization hurts her. Amber claiming not having known how hurtful she could be, but now looking back she does see it and it makes her remorseful is also BS. She filmed everything. She edited it, posted it, and had people leave her comments on her treatment of Beck's. There were compilation videos. The one Beck reacted to was posted 5 years ago. Had she any skills of self-reflection before shit hits the fan, she wouldn't be in this mess now. But she doesn't. Even now, she's not going to learn anything else from this but to hide her abos better. Amber is abusive and doesn't shy away from showing it. Only when she gets called out and her behavior catches up with her negatively will she change it. It has happened time and time again. Look at Shrimpgate for example. She talked to her audience in a disrespectful way only to take it all back when people unsubbed. Or now with Twinkie. She was giving such attitude when her audience was requesting to see the dog was still alive until Rarity went missing. Now she needs to showcase what a good pet mom she is.
I viewed our whole relationship a certain way that it wasn't. I genuinely thought that they wanted to be on camera and that they were okay with being on camera. And I was so accustomed to them zoning out or seeming like they didn't want to be on camera that like that was normal for me. But I didn't know that the zoning out and the look on their face, etc., was like an indication that they weren't listening to me or that they didn't want to be on camera. Like that is like news to me.
She never even asked if Beck wanted to be on camera. She just assumed. It was her birthright to film everyone and anyone she wanted. How many clips is there of Beck telling Amber not to film them, not to post them, and yet we have seen the clips. It's the complete disregard for Beck's wants and needs. No wonder they started zoning out. It was pointless to fight back. And had Beck been more forceful, gotten angry or thrown a tantrum, it too would have been posted. There was no way out.
So knowing that like I viewed our relationship one way and it wasn't, like I genuinely look stupid, but I guess like maybe I low-key deserve it. Realizing that we both viewed this relationship so differently actually makes it easier for me to be accountable and to apologize, because if that's the way that they truly viewed it, like I deeply apologize for that. And there's nothing I can do to change their opinions and their thoughts and their experience because that's what they lived.
Marterlin back at it again. Maybe I low-key deserve it. Girl, you don't even know how much you deserve. But don't worry, it's all coming your way, even if it takes a while. But again, the moment she takes the smallest amount of accountability she needs to bring Beck down with her. We both viewed this relationship so differently. What does that even mean? It's an empty statement she refuses to explain. Beck knows you abose them and you don't feel like you did? Okay, Beck has years worth of evidence for the abose. And even if they didn't, for Amber to just pull the I guess we viewed things differently is such an asshole thing to do. It completely denies Beck's experiences, memories of events. It's gaslighting. And for Amber to find their different viewpoints making it easier for her to now apologize is what makes it all even worse. Oh, I'm getting so mad. What does that mean, Amber? How are you claiming to take accountability when in the very next sentence you are pointing out how changing Beck's mind is not possible to you, like it has been before? You mean, oh, how noble of Amber to be the bigger person and let Beck have their make-believe memories. She'll allow it this time, and if Beck so needs it she'll also throw in an apology, cause why not? There you go, Beck, off you go, bitch.
I wasn't the greatest girlfriend. I wasn't the most perfect girlfriend, but I will say I'm not all good. I'm not all bad. And I wasn't that way then either. Like our relationship was definitely complex And even though it might not be visible to the public or even to Beck in this moment, I have taken accountability for the things that I've done.
She's been doing nothing but silencing Beck ever since they left her. Beck's lying, exaggerating, misremembering. They also did me wrong. You don't even know what Beck put me through is what Amber has been saying and still is. Where is this growth she's so eagerly talking about? How has she changed for better? Wasn't it just a month ago she was still running her mouth believing Beck would never say anything? And wasn't this the exact reason they came back? Amber fuked around and found out big time. But oh, now it's all about how she has changed and has moved on. Pass off.
And in the video, they even stated like, I don't want you to reach out to me. And that's very much why I haven't, because I wanted to respect those boundaries. But they said, I don't want an apology from you. I genuinely feel like Beck deserves an apology for the wrongdoings that I did do. But if they don't want to accept it or hear it, then I have to be okay with that. I'm not going to apologize to the internet. The apology wasn't for you guys. It was for them. I feel like in this situation, like this type of accountability should be handled in private, just like the apology should have. And the sort of discussion that is like happening between back and forth with us, like these things should be happening in private. And it's like when personal matters like this are brought onto like a public platform, I feel like backed up in a corner, like I have to defend myself or I have to say something.
Amber made this public first and has kept it public this whole time. They had faith Beck was never going to come back and share their side of the story. She thought she got away with all her mistreatment of Beck's, but little did she know, Beck has healed and they are stronger than before. Now Amber wanting things to go private, much like Alexis said, take away the pressure of her being held accountable. It's the public opinion that makes Amber act better and do better, even if she's still lacking majorly. Taking things private would also remove any proof Beck would have of Amber's actions and words. She could say anything and later claim she didn't. We would all still believe Beck over her, but it wouldn't be mentally fair. But there's another manipulative action here. By making things private, the conversation would most likely happen over the phone. Amber already knows how to manipulate Beck. She knows what she needs to pull to have Beck behave in ways she needs them to. No matter how strong and healed Beck might be, manipulator always know what buttons to push with us. She has done it for years, she knows, and Beck has still that learned code in them unfortunately. That's the exact reason abose people end up repeating the same cycle over and over again. It's normal to them to fall back to.
But it's like, I'm not gonna sit here and go through every single thing that they said, like every single claim, every single this or that, because that is just gonna fuel negativity. I truly don't feel like the back and forth is productive for either of us. But if they truly feel like sharing their story is what is gonna help them in the long run, then go for it.
How noble of her to let Beck share their story. Such martyr she is, as if it was up to Amber to decide again. Such a typical narcissistic way of thinking. This believe you're in charge over everything and everyone, that you get to decide what someone does with their time and life and it's up to you to allow it or not. But in reality, she doesn't have anything to say. She knows Beck isn't lying, she knows it's the truth, so her only MO is being deliberately vague and act like the bigger person. Such typical behavior for a narcissist.
But I have to genuinely step away. Like I said, I wasn't going to speak about them, and that was standing.
I sometimes wonder if she even believes her own lies. Is it easier to lie to others if you lie to yourself first? I'm curious how she can live in such delusion all the time. It's baffling to me.
But like hearing all of these things being said, it's been hard for me because it's like I have shown growth in my personal life, and it's hard to like show growth publicly when these are things that like was happening behind the scenes. So publicly, I might look the same to you guys, but I have changed a lot. I am always open for growth and for changing to be a better person every single day. And I want to reflect on the past more because that actually genuinely helps me see ways that I need to improve and ways that I already have improved.
Wasn't she involved with a married person romantically? Didn't she and wifey have domestic abuse in their relationship? Didn't she just threaten to ruin Emily because she got dumped? Didn't she act like a lousy friend to Alexis by forgetting her birthday? Didn't she just lose a cat and instead of feeling sad about it she's too busy worrying about another failed relationship? Didn't she just post a video where she needed to put her mom down for whatever reason even though her mom's birthday was coming up? I can go on. I have so many more points to prove otherwise to her so-called growth and her taking accountability. But also, it's not about Amber. This whole thing is not about her. It should be about Beck, how Beck felt, how they were mistreated, how they had to recover and rebuild, not just their life, but themselves after dating Amber, how Beck lost precious time with their mom because of Amber, time they can never get back. Who the fuck cares if this makes Amber a little sad? Good, she should feel like utter shat for what she did to Beck. Feel like shat and learn to never treat anyone like that ever again. That's the take, not her getting upset.
And I just want to say that any time that I had Beck on my channel, it was never out of malice. I never meant to disrespect them, and I really, 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 really did love them. this might be a little tea because no one knows, but when Beck and I were just friends while I was with Feline, and Feline did know this, don't worry. One night I got really, really drunk and I told Beck, like, I really was in love with you and I still love you. Like, you're a great person. And I hyped them up because genuinely, I owe so much to them and I have so much gratitude to them. They were there for me during some of the hardest moments of my life, i.e., when I was diagnosed with cancer. But I have never tried to show them in a certain way. Nothing was ever out of malice from the bottom of my heart, and I just really needed to make that clear.
Foo UK off, dude. The manipulation. My god, she's good. What you are witnessing here is breadcrumbing. Amber already told Beck they never were in love with them when Wifey first joined the cast. It was a way to punish Beck, to humiliate them, to take any value away from them as a human being. Beck knew Amber didn't love them, but tried so badly to earn their love by giving their all to her, only to be met with such cruelty. Because Amber was cruel for stating she wasn't in love with Beck. Imagine wiping someone you love and for them to then state they never loved you. The audacity of her. For Amber having called Beck when she was drunk, telling them she was in love with them and still loves them, it was an attempt of gaining back power. There was probably a fight between Amber and Wifey. They almost broke up. Amber wanted someone to make them feel good. Let's pull Beck back. Cause for a narcissist, you always belong to them no matter what. You are for them to use how they so please. They might abandon you for years, but the moment they need something from you, oh, you better come back running. Even now, Amber is still using her love as a way of controlling Beck. I did love you. I still love you. You are an amazing person. It's straight from Manipulator's guidebook. She doesn't mean a word. It's all just in order to have Beck stop talking and sharing things.
Like, honestly, all I can really do is just continue working on myself. My focus moving forward is to just ignore it all. Like, I wanted to take what Beck is doing and put it in like a positive way and put a positive spin to it and like be like, yeah, I am accountable. But at the same time, obviously, like, I do find frustrations in the ways that I feel like they are exaggerating or they have lied. I do firmly believe that two things can happen at once. I can be accountable, but I can also be frustrated.
Talking in circles is also something manipulators do. They say something. In Amber's case, I'm accountable, only to then drop swiftly Beck's lying and exaggerating. How? How is Beck doing that? I don't feel like making a list of things. Oh, okay then. Can you give just one thing? Only one thing they are lying about? No, I don't feel like it. Right. But we still need to take Amber's word over Beck's. Just one thing. Just name one single thing Beck's lying about. One thing, and I promise to look into it.
But I'm not accountable and frustrated about the same things. Like everyone likes to say, there are three sides to every story. Their side, my side, the truth. And like a really good example of like people viewing things differently, like kind of what's going on with like Blake and Justin. Blake feels like one thing happened, while Justin's like, no, that's not what happened. So you know what? I can't even sit here and firmly be like, okay, Beck is lying, because if they viewed it that way, then I have to accept that for what it is, because what's true to someone and the way that they view something might not be true to everyone else in the room.
Did Amber just pull Blake Lively's unfair claims towards Justin Baldoni into this? And not just that, but did Amber try to make herself be Justin in this matter? Amber, you are the only person in the room not seeing things for what they are. Everyone else can see it more than clearly, and yet she's trying to spin the wheel around to have herself be the victim in all of this. There's video footage of the abose, videos she herself filmed and posted. Anything that sticks, anything that fucking sticks by now.
I want to play devil's advocate here for a second. If I'm remembering something wrong that Beck genuinely remembers as like a full truth, then that's fair as well, because I have really bad memory problems due to moments of high stress, trauma, BPD. When I have anxiety, sometimes I'll literally like black out because I'm so anxious.
I'm about to pull my hair out. So, in case Beck would come out with proof of anything, or if not Beck then someone else, Mr. Snowflake is about to finish his video about Beck soon. Amber can just pull any of her victim card and claim innocence. How fucking convenient. In fact, let's all have the same cards and go burn the world down. Afterwards, let's call it BPD moment, and if that won't work, let's pretend we just blacked out. Are you fucking kidding me?
And I just want to say, whether my apology was behind a paywall, whether it was in a Snapchat, whether it's in a YouTube video, or whether I say it to Beck directly, it is 100% sincere. And I have apologized to them personally, but that was years ago after a breakup Beck and I was friends for about a year after we broke up. And obviously that didn't work out, which I understand, but I did apologize to them. I don't think that I took as much accountability as I do take now, because like I said, every day I like to reflect and just grow into a better person. So I'm not gonna sit here and list off every single claim that they said and write down like, okay guys, these are the things that are true and these are the things that aren't, these are the things that I'm accountable for. Like, there's no productivity in that, because whether the internet knows what I'm accountable for versus what I'm not accountable for, that doesn't bother me. The only person that I'm worried about and them actually hearing me is Beck.
And that's why your apology was done behind a paywall. Got it. Got it. I'm sure Beck wants nothing more than to pay her $10 to hear an insincere apology, let alone one where she first called them a liar. Oh, but now she's done it for free as well. There you go, Beck.
And if they don't want to, that's their prerogative. I'm okay with that. I want them to do whatever helps them. I'm not apologizing for myself. I'm apologizing to the person that I was in a relationship with for almost 5 years. And I hurt them, and I'm sorry for that. I really want to continue taking that experience in that relationship and learning from it. Beck can say absolutely anything from this point forward, and I am not going to respond. I genuinely wish them nothing but the best. And the apology that I need to give to you guys, if I hurt any of you during this whole thing because you guys care for Beck, then I'm also sorry for that. I am a very flawed individual. That is not an excuse, but I'm a flawed individual that can learn from this experience.
And we finally got the tears out. The final act of manipulation, making people feel bad for her for crying. I hope no one falls for her acts. She's not sorry. She's constantly pulling Beck down with her, accusing them of things and pointing fingers. Also, if Amber only wanted their apology to be towards Beck, why make it public? Why not just send an apology to Beck and be done with it? Because it's about the public. She needs her fans to love her and think highly of her, but also see her as a victim who does mistakes because she had a rough childhood. This was never about Beck, only about her.
And thankfully, I have. Whether people see it or believe it, I know it because I am my own person and I know how I've been in past relationships. And as I've gotten older and more mature and I've learned more about my BPD and just who I am as a person, I have become a better person and I have become a better girlfriend. I've become a better friend. I've become a better pet parent. I've become a better daughter. I've become a better sister, but I'm still flawed. I'm super complex and nuanced, just like we all are. And this just has to be the last time that I speak about this to protect my peace. And I hope that Beck does things that also protects theirs. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
What a disgusting monster she is. Let's have some final thoughts. First things first, this was manipulation 101. This was meant to manipulate Amber's audience into thinking she is taking accountability without having to take any. This was also meant to silence Beck by pushing buttons that Amber has previously known to work on them, by talking in circles, using highly manipulative language, using buzzwords and saying things as, if Beck feels that way, I would come off as, I did love you. Has the audience filling the blanks. It sounds like Amber is acknowledging her mistakes and validating Beck's experiences without actually doing so. Second, it was all about Amber. She kept saying how this all made her feel sad, frustrated, dumb and stupid, when this whole thing wasn't about her. It was about Beck. But Amber must make everything about her. She must be the ultimate victim. By bringing up her cancer was the last triumph card in her head. This will make them feel sorry for me. I had cancer, which is again highly manipulative and calculated. How Amber keeps repeating it was so long ago. I have changed doesn't matter, cause well, she hasn't. But also, even if it was 10 years ago, Beck still has the option and right to speak on things they went through. Had Amber changed for better, Beck would still be allowed to share their story. Amber has no right in deciding when or if someone can share what they feel like sharing. Finally, this video did not need to exist. Beck doesn't need Amber to apologize to them. It's not why they are sharing their story. By Amber posting this video, it was just pure damage control. It wasn't even labeled as my apology to Beck or something like that, but my last response to Beck. She knew she would never apologize, so why act like she did? For her audience. It was all to persuade her audience to see her as a mature and calm person. But if you pay any attention to her tone and body language, you can just sense this all annoys her. If you can't be sincere even for the slightest bit, then don't pretend to be. Idiot. There's probably even more points and things to say that I didn't pick up on, but at the end the thing is, to Beck, you are truly an inspiration to anyone and everyone who has ever been and gotten out of an abusive relationship or is still trapped in one. You are giving hope that healing and rebuilding yourself is possible, and how you are handling this whole matter is admirable. You show more grace than I ever could, and I love seeing you discovering your worth was never determined by an abusive person, but by you yourself. You are loved, you are cared for, and I can't wait to see where your path leads you. To Amber, you are an awful person who abosed and abosed Beck, thinking it's your birthright, and even now you are justifying your actions. You haven't taken an ounce of accountability and you never will. That's to be your punishment. You had an amazing, caring person in your life, and instead of taking care of them you decided to use them in more ways than one. What you did to Beck is not their burden to carry but yours, and you will be paying for those actions for the rest of your life. I'll say it again, you not wanting to apologize or take accountability is to be your punishment. Beck has posted a partial response to Amber's video in her ghost story video, and in it they mentioned about the perfect victim idea that floats around. To anyone who has justified someone else's abose towards them because you yourself have made mistakes or you haven't just taken the abose they have acted towards you, as a victim, you don't have to be perfect. You can make mistakes and that still doesn't mean you deserved what happened to you. Please take care. You are worthy of love and care.
Thanks for watching.